I'm on the 6th hole, a little par 3, and I've pushed my tee shot into this greenside bunker. I've got about 20 yards to the flag, and I'm able to really control the shot here, land it on the green, and let it run down to the hole. So what is it that's so difficult about bunkers? Why are we so inconsistent? And I think the major reason is we spend all of our time focused on hitting down on the ball, that an intentional fat shot is the last thing that you have in mind. What you need to remember in bunkers is that you're trying to take a really good divot so that the ball is riding out of the sand via momentum. It's very important that I'm able to stabilize that entry point into the sand, and what we're looking for is perhaps a good 3 inches behind the ball. The other key area is to get the depth of the divot. It's not good enough just to hit down into the sand as hard as you can, because you'll never be able to get enough club head speed to get that ball out to the hole. You also don't want to have the divot too shallow, because then you're going to have too much of a clean contact on the ball and you'll always be in danger of hitting a thin shot. Let me just do one for you and then I'll explain to you how I set this up. So, give myself a good base in the sand, practice swing of what I'm trying to do, visualize where I want the ball to land. So you could see definitely a hit down into the sand there, but my divot is very shallow. Let's take those one at a time. The most important thing, if I just draw a line in the sand here, is to be able to hit consistently onto that line in the same place. What I want to do is set my weight forward of the line so that I feel as though I'm leaning a little bit on my left leg, and once I've set that weight position, I'm not going to move it. My lower body has to be very, very stable here. If I'm going to be able to keep a nice still position and focus on hitting on that line, if my body's more stationary, it's going to make the job a lot easier. To hit down, you must swing up. So in these bunker shots, use an aggressive setting of those wrists so that the club head is nice and high up in the air, and from there I should be able to hit down onto the sand. Let me have a go. So you could see my impact point started on that line, and that's really the first thing for you to master. After you've got a hold of that, what we're now talking about is the depth of the divot. That's the low point of the swing underneath the ball. And a couple of different things help us to do that. The first is the design of the sand wedge. Different from your pitching wedge, the sole of the sand wedge is created so that it will bounce or ricochet off the sand and not dig in. The rest of that's up to you. If you can hit down on the line, but your weight is leaning way forward, your angle of attack is going to be so vertical that your low point would then be 4 or 5 inches underneath the ball, and that won't be any good at all. The knees really control the height of the body, so once you've set those knees, you have to keep that height. Everything else is all about timing from your hands down onto the line, a shallow divot through, off the bounce, and let it release. If you have a tough time hitting down on the line, or you have a tough time timing the ball off the sand, there must be something happening in your technique. The first thing is too much weight shift off the ball. You have to stay still. If I've shifted this much off, it may feel as I'm going to make a powerful swing, but I'm not going to be able to return the ball back onto that line. The next thing is, instead of hitting down, you break down, you let the club head come into the ball. It may ricochet off the sand, but it will hit clean into the ball, and you're going to hit the ball miles too far. So, weight into the left side, really stabilize your lower body. This is very much an up and down movement of your arm swinging up your chest, down your chest, and releasing that club into the sand. So you can see the same divot every single time. Controlling the divot is the key to good bunker shots. You have to have that first. Control the entry point into the sand by practicing along a line. control the divot by keeping your height and getting the feeling of where the low spot is in your swing. After that, it's all about practice. You need to be able to control the different speeds, to control the different distances, but the divot is always the same.